This is a different kind of heated rivalry. It's Montague versus Capulet, and Romeo and Julian don't even know what's coming. Welcome back to the 13th reading in the Wherefore Art Thou Journals series. If you're new here, every Thursday we explore selected passages from Romeo and Julian's private journals, the entries that were never meant for anyone else to read. Before we dive in, if you're not already subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you can follow the journey every week. And don't miss our Monday shorts where I share sneak previews of what's coming and extra insights from behind the scenes. Now, if you haven't been following these videos or the shorts over the past year, here's what you need to know. The Montagues and the Capulets are locked in a bitter business war that's been going on for over a decade. And now the problem is they're working on the exact same construction build. But something else is brewing behind the scenes. This week, we're back with Romeo. He and Julian have met. They've finally exchanged numbers, and they've been talking non-stop. A love story slowly beginning to unfold. But Romeo is starting to notice something. Julian struggles with anxiety, something his parents don't believe is real. And before anyone gets anxious themselves, waiting for me to stop talking and cut to the chase, let's dive in, shall we?
Sunday, February 5th, 2023, 8:14 a.m. Entry by Romeo. Last day of the weekend and I still don't sleep in. Not a bad thing for my schedule, but I was up late the past 2 nights. Friday, I didn't get home until almost midnight because Marcos wouldn't stop. We hung out for a while, then went back to his place where his parents were still up and very chatty. Thankfully, Ben drove me home. Marcos wanted us to stay over, but I wanted to message Julian and sleep in my own bed. Nothing beats your own bed. The second I got out of Benny's car, I texted Julian. I actually missed him, but I'd been too busy to check in. Felt bad. He has anxiety, and I'm starting to think maybe some abandonment issues too. It was nagging at me, wondering if he was okay. I figured he'd be asleep, but nope. He replied 5 minutes later. Relieved would be an understatement. I wanted to FaceTime, but it was already late, so I decided to wait until last night instead. Not even going to bother recapping what I did with Benny and Marcos, nothing interesting. Julian and I texted pretty much all day yesterday. He didn't wake up until 10 a.m. Must be nice. I sent just one message in the morning, in case he was still out. Once he was up, though, text bombardment. He apologized for not replying right away. I told him, dude, you were sleeping, which led to, did you just dude me? Guilty. Felt weird, actually. We laughed about it, but yeah, probably won't be doing that again. I asked if he wanted to go for a walk today. He loves walking, and I'll take any excuse to see him. But his mom demanded, his words, not mine, he stay home to help with his dad's business dinner. Apparently they have a lot of these, because his dad is always trying to win someone over. Julian said his mom can't really cook. So I asked what they do about food. He said something about catering. I asked if he was the caterer, and he sent a gif of someone rolling on the ground laughing. Since he'd be busy, I knew we wouldn't talk much in the evening. He confirmed he'd had to attend the dinner, and I could feel how much he didn't want to. It's not that he doesn't care about his dad's business, it's just not his thing. Funny enough, neither of us talk about what our dads actually do. I don't even know Julian's last name. Oh well, not important yet. The radio silence started at 5 p.m. Guess I know how he felt the other night. My last text, good luck. His reply, I'm gonna need it. Dinner at home was barbecue. Dad's one actual cooking skill. Ribs, burgers, hot dogs, solid. Steaks, ruined. The man likes them well done, which Mom and I find disgusting. Chicken, surprisingly decent. He texted me to come get the ribs, which turned out to be a trick. He just wanted another beer. Classic move. I wised up though, and brought one with me. This time he claimed he didn't want one. Annoying. Then came the rare questions about my art class. Suspicious. He never asks about school unless it's gym class. He's a sports guy. I humored him. Not like I care about sports, as I've made very clear. Dinner was great though. No idea what sauce he used on the ribs, but he refused to spill. Mom and I let him have his moment. I told Julian to text me when he was free. After dinner, Mom and I watched a documentary about Mount Everest, specifically about George Mallory, who might have reached the summit in 1924, decades before the first official summit. Super interesting. Mom and I love documentaries. I checked my phone a few times, and Mom noticed. She asked if I had more important things to do. I immediately apologized and put my phone face down. I felt bad, but I also didn't want to miss anything from Julian. I focused on our time until the documentary ended. By 9 p.m. I figured Julian was done with dinner. Told Mom I was heading upstairs to draw and sleep early. A small lie, but whatever. Our rooms aren't close, so no one would hear me on FaceTime. Still no text from him. Weird. How long was this dinner? I assumed to be over by 8 p.m. But I did what I said. I drew, leaving my phone face up on the desk. If it buzzed, I'd see it. Now I was the impatient one. I've noticed Julian can be impatient too, definitely tied to his anxiety. Finally at 10 p.m. my screen lit up. A full caps apology. "I'm so sorry." For what? He told me he'd be busy. I reassured him, but he kept apologizing anyway. He hadn't expected the dinner to go so long and tried sneaking away multiple times, but his parents wouldn't let him. That made me wonder, did they even let him go to the bathroom? I didn't ask, but I could tell he was getting anxious from the rapid-fire texts. He was really worried about whether we were still on for the FaceTime. I assured him multiple times that we were. I promised I wasn't going anywhere and that if we said we'd do something, we'd do it. I think he finally believed me when I asked what time his parents would be heading to bed. He guessed around 11. His brother's room wasn't close to his, so he wasn't too worried about him. Plus, it was a Saturday night. He was probably going out. Sure enough, right after Julian texted that, his brother left. Then my phone started ringing. FaceTime. Totally wasn't ready. Cue the frantic scramble for my headphones. I didn't think he'd call that fast. I found them just in time and answered. Seeing his face always takes my breath away. He's just so incredibly handsome. His hair looked extra curly for some reason, which somehow made it even better. He was lying in bed, head on his pillow, smiling. That smile could have lit up my entire room. "Hi," he said. "That's all I got." "Hi," I replied. We just sat there, smiling at each other in complete silence for what felt like 30 seconds. I love moments like that, the ones where you don't need to say anything, you just exist together. Eventually we started talking. We've been learning a lot about each other, but last night I asked him directly if he has anxiety. He's never been officially diagnosed, his parents don't believe it's a real thing, but he admitted he definitely has it. He's hinted at it before, but this was the first time he outright said it. I promised him I'd support him however he needed. I told him that if he ever finds himself spiraling, he can message me anytime. I also reminded him that if I don't reply right away, or for a few hours, not to panic. Easier said than done, but I wanted to put it out there. I asked how his swim went on Friday. He didn't say much, just that the coach cornered him at the end of his lane and tried to recruit him. I told him he could just say no. Apparently he did, but one of the guys on the team had to step in and back him up. The highlight of his night, though, was getting home and having the house to himself. Then he admitted that not hearing from me on Friday night made him overthink. I asked what kind of thoughts went through his head. That's when he froze, like actually froze. I thought the screen lagged, but no, he just didn't want to say. I asked him if he was afraid I'd judge him. Quickest yes ever. I promised I wouldn't, and that's when he opened up. I'm not writing what he said here, it's private, but I answered every single one of his concerns, every irrational fear that had taken over his mind. It made me wonder what kind of trauma he's been through, and yet I still didn't sleep in today. Julian and I were FaceTiming until 2:30 a.m. I should be exhausted, but I'm completely wired. Guess that's what good conversation does. Neither of us was tired, but once we saw the time, it hit us. That's when the yawns started, and we knew it was time to say goodnight. At one point, his phone almost died. He barely got it plugged in time before it shut down. Then we went completely silent. His older brother had just stumbled into the house, drunk. That woke up their dad, who immediately tore into him for making so much noise. Julian guessed he'd been at a club. Turns out he was. His brother actually texted him a photo of himself kissing some random girl with the message, "This is how you do it in case you didn't know." Drunk or not, that's pretty damn rude. From everything I've heard, I already know I dislike his family. It doesn't sound like they physically hurt him, but emotionally? That's another story. All I want to do is bring him home with me and never let him go back. Not because I want him all to myself, I just feel this overwhelming need to protect him. And honestly, I'm starting to worry about his well-being. I don't think he's telling me all this just to get sympathy. He doesn't seem like that kind of person. But now that I'm writing it all out, I wonder, has there ever been physical abuse too? Would he even tell me if there was? Are we at that level of trust yet? I need to stop. I'm overthinking. No point wasting energy on things I don't know for sure. If there's more to it, he'll tell me when he's ready. And now I've been writing for almost an hour. I need food, like badly. It smells like Mom's already cooking something anyway. Downstairs I go. No clue what I'm doing for the rest of the day, but I'm sure there'll be plenty of texting with Julian whenever he wakes up.
Romeo might be the balance Julian needs. He doesn't contribute to Julian's anxiety, at least not knowingly, but he actively tries to help him through it. Romeo's concern about Julian's home life is justified. He doesn't know what goes on behind closed doors, and we don't even know if Julian writes down everything he deals with. But Romeo, like JJ, is determined to protect him. What's interesting is that the boys don't discuss what their fathers do for work, or their family's businesses at all. That choice reflects their desire to stay separate from it, to just live their own lives. But that silence may be the very thing that ruins everything, or sets them on the path to where they were always meant to be. Romeo's dad has started speaking to him again. Not many words, but they are happening. Why? Well, because his father has a sweep it under the rug mentality. In his mind, Romeo changing schools magically made everything like it never happened. And yet, the boys' interest in each other is becoming impossible to ignore. Where Volume 1 differs from Shakespeare's original is that this love grows over time. It doesn't unfold over a few chaotic days. It builds slowly, intentionally, and honestly. You'll still find familiar beats. The iconic moments are very much present. This time, we don't get Romeo's full entry. What we're hearing is only from that morning. It continues later that night, and it's one of Romeo's longer entries. Things are starting to build now, and a beautiful love story is quietly taking shape. Before we wrap up, if this story is pulling you in, go ahead and like the video. It really helps this series reach new readers. If you're enjoying these readings, subscribe so you don't miss a chapter. And I'd love to know, do you think love can survive when it's built in the middle of a war? Let me know in the comments. And if you want the full story, including everything I don't read here, you can order Wherefore Art Thou Journals Volume 1 through the links in the description or at romeoandjulian.com. Until next Thursday, keep your heart open, your journal close, and your story unfolding.